We were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. We humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. Not much space is spent on the sixth and seventh step in the Big Book. It is done fairly rapidly and easily compared to some of the other steps, and it tends to get overlooked in our discussion of alcoholism. But the sixth and seventh step are extremely significant and indispensable. Through analysis of the sixth and seventh step, we can understand the causal relationship between obsession and the step work. The sixth and seventh step are necessary for freedom from obsession. The sixth and seventh step are profound acts of detachment. Attachment is a fixation of a faculty to an object. In other words, it is something that you want that you can't let go of. Attachment can be in the intellect and the will, and it can be in the concupiscible and irascible appetites. For example, someone likes chocolate, and they get upset if they don't get their chocolate. This is an attachment in the concupiscible appetite. Or someone has a certain image of themselves, and if people don't treat them in ways contrary, if people treat them in ways contrary to that image of themselves, they get upset. This is an attachment in the intellect. Detachment carries with it a certain indifference towards an object. You can take it or leave it. All the attachments that we have reduced to the most all the attachments we have can be reduced to their most fundamental form as an attachment to self, that is selfishness and egoism. This is what our character defects are, forms of attachment to self. The relationship between our emotions and our higher faculties manifests in two ways: consequent and antecedent appetite. In consequent appetite, the motions of the passions come after the motions of the intellect and will. For example, someone insults me, and I reflect on it, and I realize that I am insulted, and I get angry. Antecedent appetite, however, comes before the moment of the intellect and the will, and affects those faculties. For example, I am angry, and I decide to strike someone. The decision to strike someone has been affected by my emotion, a decision I would not have made had I been at peace. The consequent of attachment in the soul is called antecedent appetite. Our emotions dominate us because of attachment. Again, if I don't get what I want and I get upset, this is because of attachment. Antecedent appetite in its most extreme form is called obsession. Obsession is just a form of the emotions dominating the intellect and the will. So here we see that egoism, attachment to self, causes obsession. And here we see how the step work frees us from obsession. The principal way to free the faculties from antecedent appetite is through virtue, a subject I have already covered extensively in this paper. At this point in the step work, we have already determined what the problem is. That the problem is in the addict, that it is selfishness and egoism. In the sixth and seventh steps, the addict detaches himself from the root of his problem, which is himself. He lets go of himself, and this helps free the addict from obsession.